There's Michael Davis, who was the battalion S3, I believe. The color guard. Vince Sears, the sergeant major. Steve Goldber. Donald Knoll, the battalion commander, cadet lieutenant colonel. And he's talking here to Eric Forsman. And here comes Rudy Wardian, leading the Drum and Bugle Corps. And that's Mike Froman on the left and Ted Banks on the right. And that's Sergeant Lamb, who I met years later when I was a captain and infantry company commander. I met him in the Army. Good guy. And that's Colonel Oscar Mall in the center with Paul Spivak on the right and our school principal on the left. O'Brien, I think her name was. Sergeant Tash, he was the military advisor for us. A couple of the girls that were in the auxiliary ROTC. Here's the battalion staff. Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Donald Knoll, the battalion commander, just did an about face. Rudy Wardian leading the Drum and Bugle Corps again. Here comes Sergeant Lamb in a Jeep. He's going to take Colonel Mall and Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Knoll on a review of the battalion. This is the presentation of awards to certain deserving cadets. Donald Knoll. Michael Davis, escorting Principal O'Brien, is her name? I don't know. Paul Spivak, Cadet Major. Vince Sears, Cadet Sergeant Major. That's Eli Goldberg, the Assistant Principal, presenting an award to one of the cadets. Rudy Wardian. I think his name was Partika. And I think his name was Purpura. And I think his name was Michalski. And that's Burkhart, Larry Burkhart. I can't remember his name, but I had a funny story about him in the arms room once. Now the battalion is passing in review in front of the dignitaries. That's Mike Froman on the left and Mike Davis on the right. Sergeant Tash. These guys standing behind him, these guys are some of the Bowen ROTC alumni that had graduated in years past and always felt an affinity for the Corps. And here comes the drill team under Don Knoll. Put on a little exhibition drill, sans rifles. This guy's name, if I remember correctly, was Morrison. That's me, Ron Bazil, cadet, first sergeant. I must have loaned the camera to somebody. And it looks like I'm joined there by Larry Burkhart. That's Ted Banks. He was a photographer for the school newspaper, the Bowen Arrow. Jerry Chomsky, he wasn't in ROTC. What we're preparing to do here is there's a dedication to a flag and plaque that were erected on one of the corners of the school. That's Mike Davis raising the flag, and the dedication was for Alfred Urdialis, who was one of the former cadets of the battalion who was killed in Vietnam. That's Sergeant Tash doffing his hat. I've been back to that site in years since, and the entire flagpole, the base, and everything is gone. There's Colonel Mall giving a speech. This big color guard guy's name, I think, was Arroyo. Arollo. Maybe Antonio Arroyo. Paul Jacobson, another school photographer. And this was a scene from about a week before the inspection, a practice day. So we're in, not in uniform, just practicing. It was cold in May.
you.